everybody. Welcome to our new campaign. Host or DM'd by our very good friend Kevin. Kevin, hello.
Hello.
We're here with Kevin, of course, and with Griffin,
Hi.
Alden,
Yo.
and Kristen. I'm the only one whose name doesn't end in N. I'm James Baxter. I did just want to point out real quick that Kevin's planning on running this long term. Might not always be on Wednesday, but we're going to be running this for a while, and you might see different players come in and out. So, Kevin, I'm just going to throw it to you.
All right. Well, hey, everybody. I'm Kevin Miller. And this is session 0 of Neon Goblins Baldur's Gate Descent into Avernus campaign, which we are calling Ride to Retribution. We are, as usual, sponsored by Roll20, a system-agnostic, free-to-use virtual tabletop, pro members of which get assets every single month, which include things like maps and tokens. And there is a recently launched new feature on Roll20, Dark Mode. So now, if you need that for any reason, whether it be accessibility or simple eye strain, that is available to use. It's easy, it's nice, it looks good, and I've already switched. So try it out. Now tonight we will not be using Roll20 for anything, as it is session 0, and therefore what we are mostly going to be doing is campaign background, and specifically as that relates to character creation. So up front, I am going to give just a little bit of an overview of the history of the particular region of the Forgotten Realms in which this game is going to take place, and especially the cities of Elturel and Baldur's Gate, which are sister cities on the Sword Coast that have a fun little storied rivalry going on. They're where most of the campaign sort of centers around, if not necessarily takes place. Spoilers. It's called Descent into Avernus. You go to Avernus. That's the campaign. Anyway, so let's start off with a little bit of background about the Sword Coast just as a region. It is, in a lot of ways, the sort of Wild West of the Forgotten Realms, and also in a lot of ways it's not at all like that. It's definitely a region that is absolutely filled with turbulence, which is mostly because so many D&D writers have set stories and adventures there, and it's therefore just sort of gone through a lot vis-a-vis political crises, demon incursions, evil gods descending to the mortal plane to die, all kinds of stuff. And especially, it is home to one of the Forgotten Realms' absolute favorite like little pockets of campaign setting, and that is Baldur's Gate. Baldur's Gate is one of the most storied cities in the entire Forgotten Realms, just in terms of like pure volume of words written about it. And that's mostly because it kind of occupies a place for the Forgotten Realms, similar to like New York in America, in that it's this very much New World type of coastal port that has that if you make it there, you can make it anywhere vibe. And because of that, it's got a lot of guild activity, the 5 guilds that are so important to the foundation of 5th edition. It's got a ton of dragon cults, death cults, fiend cults. If there's a cult about it, they have a base in Baldur's Gate, and it's probably lively and bustling. And also the sort of more cosmic parts of the Forgotten Realms tend to wander through Baldur's Gate on occasion. So with all that going on, it's sort of easy to see why you would want a big adventure module for your still at the time relatively new edition of Dungeons and Dragons to take place in, and that's this one. So, you guys' characters will probably be at least connected to Baldur's Gate, and definitely knowledgeable about it to one degree or another. Because, you either live or have come to the Sword Coast, and thus, you know some stuff about Baldur's Gate. Or you think you do. I don't know. That's secondary, though. The sort of secret to Baldur's Gate Descent into Avernus is that while a lot of it takes place in Baldur's Gate, and the characters are based out of Baldur's Gate is not what the story is about. The story of Descent into Avernus is about another city. It is about Elturel. It is an older, more put together city than Baldur's Gate. It is much more traditional in a lot of ways, not just culturally, but in terms of its like role in a fantasy setting. It is very much the Gondor in a lot of ways of the Sword Coast and of the Forgotten Realms in general, if you don't necessarily take Netherwinter into account, which, Sword Coast wise, it's definitely your city on the hill, connected to the world around it, but also above the world around it, separated. And the main way that expresses itself is through the city's religion, and especially the city's like religious communities and its ties to Lathander, the god of the dawn, the morning lord. He is very much a sort of patron deity of the city, and a very, very famous little event has happened there relatively recently in terms of the Forgotten Realms, about 50 years ago, in fact. And that's sort of where our story begins. But really, it's not. But kind of it is. There is a second sun in the sky above Elturel. It's called the Companion. And in about 1444, in the reckoning of the Forgotten Realms, which is the DR stands for Dale Reckoning. I Googled right before the session, found that out.
So it didn't stand for dragon?
It did not stand for dragon. No, it was Dale Reckoning, which is because probably of the most famous and like popular of the Forgotten Realms books is the Icewind Dale trilogy, which is of course written by Ari Salvatore, right around the foundation of Forgotten Realms as like a D&D campaign setting. There's a lot of business stuff that sort of ties into that we don't need to go into. But at 1444 Dayar, there was a crisis in the city of Elturel. The city was beset by undead and fiends, which were coming from the Fields of the Dead, a sort of geographical feature of the Sword Coast that's just this giant inhospitable plain covered in monsters and fiends and undead, and just generally it's an adventure zone in a lot of ways. But the fiends and the undead were especially bad that year, to the point that Elturel was barely holding itself together, was suffering a lot. And there was a priest in the city named Favius Krieg. And Favius Krieg was one of the leaders of a group of knights called the Hell Riders. And they sort of act as the city's primary force of justice and peacekeepers and that kind of a thing. And Favius Krieg of the Hell Riders ended up bringing forth a miracle of Lathander called the Companion. And that is that second sun. Its light is painful and dangerous to fiends and undead in particular. And using its power as a way to sort of force a foundation and a measure of protection on the city, the Hell Riders and the Order of the Gauntlet and all of the other Knights of Elturel were able to push the fiends back, drive them out of the fields of the dead, and eventually they sort of won the conflict. Now, this is sort of secondary to the actual political happenings in the city of Elturel at the time, which were very, very vampire centric. The actual I was sort of mixing things there in my head. I probably should have been looking at my notes, but I wasn't. The actual function of the companion was that there was a secret takeover of the city by evil vampire nobles. That was what was going on with the companion. The thing with the fiends and the undead and the fields of the dead was happening at the time, and it was made worse by the fact that the vampires were controlling the city. But it was the vampires controlling the city that were the real problem. And that was definitely sort of the crux of the moment, and the reason why Fabius Krieg was the savior of the city by bringing forth the companion was city's covered in vampires. They've taken over everything. They're causing problems, and the companion, burns and kills them. So we want to go back another 50 years now that I've brought it up, because the Hell Riders don't originate out of nothing. They are a very specifically historic group of knights in the Forgotten Realms. They're not dedicated to they're not just a natural growth of the city of Elturel. They are born of a moment in its history, and that is when the fiends and undead in the fields of the dead were, again, on the rise, causing horrible problems. This is because a gate to Avernus had appeared in the fields of the dead and was spewing forth all manner of horrors. And at that time, there was this angel, a solar. And a solar is one of only 22 solars in the sort of rankings of the heavenly hierarchy of the Forgotten Realms. Solars are the hugest deal. They are so important. They are barely secondary to gods themselves. And a lot of them do attract worship and grant people miracles. You can be a cleric of a solar. And so that's what this particular angel's deal was. And this is Zariel. Zariel, who is now the Archduke of Avernus, the first of the nine hells. And the way that happened is Zariel was deeply unhappy with the amount of suffering and evil that was wrought by the devils of the nine hells. And she thought that because of the blood war, the constant war between devils and demons that is being fought in Avernus, she thought, we can save the souls of the damned that reside in Avernus, and we can use that attack on the hells to intervene further in the affairs of Asmodeus and Levistus and all the other archdomes. We can start really doing active good in the world, as opposed to just assisting mortals with their do-gooding. And this was rejected by the other solars, by the gods at Mount Celestia. No one was into it, except for Zariel and a bunch of her followers. Her god, that she was a solar of, Lathander, was not willing to support her, and neither was anyone else. But she went rogue. She went down to Elturel, specifically Elturel, because there was such a strong connection to the Lathander, and because Elturel was this active force for good, was this city on the hill who sent its knights to do battle with evil, this bulwark between the fields of the dead and the rest of the Sword Coast. And she comes down to the city and she says, you guys are being attacked through this gate to Avernus by fiends and devils and undead and all kinds of nasty stuff. They have made a mistake. They have opened up a gate. We can use this to attack them back, to set right things that have gone wrong, to rescue those who've been tricked by devils and damned. And she gets together an enormous amount of knights. People come from all over the realms to join under her banner, and these are the Hell Riders. This is the beginning of that order of knights, and they descend into Avernus. They do battle with the devils there, and they fail. And it's not really totally understood by anyone why. The Hell Riders don't like to talk about it. Their history is like very much their own business in their eyes, and it's very, very few people really understand what happened in Avernus, but the results are undeniable. Bel, the archdevil of Avernus, was cast down and replaced by Zariel with the backing of Asmodeus, the ninth archdevil and the most powerful of them. She turned the Blood War into this new campaign against the sort of encroaching tide of demons and devils being constantly at war with each other. Law versus chaos, it's that. And the Hell Riders who survived mostly barely did. Very few of them ended up getting out of Avernus compared to how many went in. And those that did were basically horribly traumatized by it. And it's definitely sort of it's a weird origin for a widely popular and beloved order of knights to have, but they have in the intervening 100 years, especially during the vampire takeover and the advent of the companion, they have proven many times over that despite their sort of ignominious origins, they are a real force in the fight for good in the Forgotten Realms. They are absolutely a righteous order of do-gooding paladins that tend to make things better where they go. And Elturel has definitely embraced that. The failure of Elturel to lay siege to the Nine Hells is sort of seen as like a learning moment. Like, this is why you listen to Lathander. This is why the gods know what they're talking about. This is why we should sort of keep to the mortal realm and do good here. And the Hell Riders have definitely been on the forefront of making that the story. Mm-hmm. So all of that said, Elturel is currently doing pretty great as of the beginning of the adventure. Baldur's Gate, on the other hand, is not. Baldur's Gate is in the middle of a series of strange crises and economic disasters that have sort of been coming from all over the place. The Cult of the Dragon, for those of you who know about the Tyranny of the Dragons series of modules, that's happening right now. All of the 5e adventure modules that have been released so far, most of them anyway, I haven't read every single one, they're happening kind of simultaneously in various parts of the world. And so there's a lot of stuff happening that impacts Baldur's Gate in sort of a disproportionate way, given its position as like this trading city, this like filtering point for all of the sort of stuff that happens in Faerun. And Faerun being a continent, right, where most of Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition happens. So all of this is sort of causing upheaval, specifically in the way that law is being enforced in Baldur's Gate. Baldur's Gate is becoming more lawless, which is saying a lot because Baldur's Gate was kind of lawless already. The Flaming Fist, the city's primary policing and justice resolving force, is beset by financial and political disasters. It's barely staying together. The noble families of Baldur's Gate, the patriarchs, are seeing these weird fluctuations in their power. Some of them are making strange moves. Some of them are plotting. It's really turning into a whole thing. And Alterel is sort of on the sidelines, like turning up its nose. Like, of course this would happen to you guys. Of course this would happen to Baldur's Gate, the city that can't keep anything together for more than 5 minutes. That's just sort of this big rolling disaster that is constantly failing its way upward into more and more of a central position of success and political relevancy in the Sword Coast. And that's all sort of happening before the adventure starts. And we're actually going to deal with this in session 1. This is going to be our sort of beginning of our adventure for you guys as characters. And this is when we're getting into that, by the way. This is when we're getting into the stuff that's like really directly relevant for character creation. So if any of what I have said so far has been making you glaze over a little bit, now is the time to double down on, like, I'm getting lost in the weeds. The point is that right now what's happening in Elturel is fake. Disaster is about to strike. It's about to go horribly wrong. Elturel is, in fact, going to be pulled into the Nine Hells. That's the adventure. That's the inciting incident of the adventure. That is, in the campaign module as written, already happening. And in fact, it's the refugees from Elturel that are sort of the inciting incident as written in the book. There's been some like additional published material that we're going to get into that's more directly about the moment that Elturel falls. That's where we're going to start our adventure. But that doesn't necessarily mean that you have to be super directly connected to Elturel, because the tavern that you guys are going to be meeting in a tavern in actually exists in that secondary published material. It is called something that I had a minute ago. So the tavern that you guys meet in is going to be called the... That's not the right page.
Alden, during Icewind Dale, when we did that, Wilhelm was part of something. What was that called?
He was the Purple Dragon Knight. That's from Cormyr. It's not the same.
That's Cormyr.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry.
I
but
just remembered something.
You can
like
be
that.
a Purple Dragon Knight, for the record. That's actually what I'm getting to, is that there is a tavern called A Pair of Black Antlers. And it is sort of the unofficial headquarters of the Order of the Gauntlet, which is another force of knights that fights evil that's based in Elturel. And there has been a meeting called for the Order of the Gauntlet, the Flaming Fist, and the Hellriders. They're all there. They're all there with people who are either connected to them or just along for the ride. There's probably a lot of like mercenaries, a lot of interested travelers, a lot of people who can hold a sword or sling a spell are going to be at this tavern. And that's going to be sort of you guys' excuse to be there, for lack of a better phrase.
Okay.
But there is a sort of diplomatic aspect to this meeting, as well as like the immediate like holy mission that's going to be happening. And that diplomatic aspect is that one of the patriarchs of Baldur's Gate, actually the Grand Duke of Baldur's Gate, the primary sort of presidential figure in that city, has come to Elturel as part of like a diplomatic, like, let's get together and solve some problems force. Specifically, there's Cult of the Dragon activity that you guys are going to be investigating. And he is who has brought this force of Flaming Fist into the city. He is beloved in a lot of ways by a lot of people. He is definitely doing good in the best way he can in Baldur's Gate. The common people are sort of on board with Grand Duke Alder Ravengard, despite his occasionally draconian anti-evil policies and measures. It's anti-evil at the end of the day. People are kind of on board. So this meeting at this tavern is going to be our sort of introductory scene, and there are there's going to be a lot of like not a lot of this is the thing I do for the record. It's going to happen a lot. There's just going to be a moment where my train of thought flies off a cliff and I have to put the pieces back together as best I can. The scene in the tavern is going to be our introductory scene. The scene in the tavern is going to be sort of the inciting incident for most of the campaign. And with that, I think we should just get into rolling stats. The character.
Yeah, I have an idea what I want to do with this. 0. But
that's the point. That's the point of the entire backstory thing. Is I want to give you ideas. So I am actually going to roll a d6, and that is going to determine what stat we roll for first.
Okay.
So it looks like we are going to go for wisdom off the bat. So everyone, I would like you to roll 4d6. Drop the lowest. That is going to be the thing.
Oh, shit.
And just put down your numbers. Say them if you want. But
I'm just going to put mine into D&D Beyond, not a sponsor.
Yeah, go ahead and do that.
That's what I was doing.
Are we ready to move on to the next stat?
Hang on a second. Yes.
Okay. That is, I swear to God, 5 5s in a row. Charisma.
Bring the
Charisma
chaos.
is next.
Oh no.
Okay. Yeah.
Wait, what are we doing with charisma? Oh, the second d6 is charisma. Got it.
Yeah, roll 46, drop the lowest.
Roll 46, drop the lowest. Yeah.
For charisma.
Cool.
Up next is Constitution.
Okay.
You know what? Actually, if you guys could just drop the numbers in Discord, that'll.
I can't do that.
Okay. Yeah. Right.
I know.
Kristen, if you could just say your number. We are going to need these. Well, do we?
I don't know. Do we?
No, I don't think we do actually.
Maybe at the end you could drop your strength, dex, con, intelligence, wisdom, charisma, or something like that.
Well, let's. I mean, not to spoil anything, but we are going to allow you to you can move at least a few of your scores around. This isn't going to be.
Oh, okay.
Set.
So far, I'm doing so good. So.
Is he frozen for you?
Nothing. Oh yeah, Kevin froze up.
Oh
Okay.
my goodness gracious.
Oh. Wait, did
Is
it?
there a reason I don't understand this? Like, so I got a 5, a 3, and a 2.
Yeah.
So,
But you need to roll. You need to
need
roll
to
one more d6.
You need to roll 4 at once.
And
Oh
then-
no, I rolled 4. I rolled 4 at once. One of them was
Okay.
a 1. I took that
Oh,
out.
okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you got, what did you get?
So a 5, a 3, and a 2.
13.
10.
That's a
Oh,
10.
10. Math is hard.
Was that the first
Oh
one?
wait. Well, that's my question. So is 10 my wisdom?
The
is
first,
that...
yeah.
That was
he's
wisdom, yeah.
gone.
Yeah.
Okay, hang on. I'm gonna throw us
Man, I
to.
never done this shit before. Don't
I'm
you
gonna
Okay,
throw-
and
laugh
then
at me,
what'd you get
Griffin?
for the what'd you get for the next one?
I'm laughing at
I'm
all
gonna throw
of
us
it
to
because-
break
Yeah,
while
no,
we figure out
that
what's going
math
on
was
with
so
Kevin.
bad. Yeah, that's fair.
Okay, I got 13. Well, I didn't know we were.
we're back. Okay, so so far we've done wisdom, charisma, and constitution.
Yeah. Dex is next.
Okay, here we go.
Hey, come on, babe.
Oh, no.
Oh my god.
Oh no.
Like I said, we're gonna be able to move these around a little bit.
Oh, boy.
I'm moving them
I sure
around
hope
is
so.
not my issue right now.
6 dicks.
I don't think Griffin's broken a 10 yet.
Guess I'm playing a turtle, people.
Bring the chaos.
All right. Up next is strength.
Ooh, I got 16 for that one.
Got an 11. Okay.
Oh my
Maybe I'm a
God.
barbarian.
Okay.
All right. Well, for our sixth one, this is when the difference happens. Don't roll for your sixth stat.
Okay.
Instead, add up your previous numbers.
Okay.
And subtract the result from 72.
Okay.
And that is going to be your sixth number.
Ooh, mine's gonna be high.
Minus
Griffin's gonna be like, I got 27.
18,
It is
32,
possible for this to be invalidating for the rest of the numbers.
Yeah, wait a second. 63 minus 72.
Other way
That's
around.
no good. Oh,
72 minus 63.
okay, great. Well, that's still bad. Wait, so my last stat is 9?
Okay.
No.
It means that the rest of your numbers add up to being good,
Oh shit!
generally
Okay.
speaking.
Okay, let me.
I got a
hold on, let me-
17 in that one. That last one.
It happens.
Okay.
That's the point of the system.
Okay, no, this is great. 15.
My lowest stat is a
not
9. That's pretty good.
Okay.
That is pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not mad at it.
So let's start saying the totals.
I'll go first if you want.
Go for it.
I have 12 wisdom, 14 charisma, 14 con. It was going great. 6 dex, 11 strength, and because of your last rule, a 15 int. So that's pretty cool.
All right. That's a stat layout.
Yep.
I'll
Pretty
go.
close to the standard array in a lot of ways.
I feel like Griffin should go last. I'll go next. Okay, so I got a 10 in strength,
Okay.
9 dexterity, 11 constitution, 17 intelligence, 15 wisdom, and a 10 in charisma.
Okay. Griffin, what's your
Okay, so it was 72
oh,
minus
no, Chris, yeah.
everybody,
Lay it on-
all the numbers.
Lay it on
combined.
us, Griffin.
So it's 9 strength, 8 dexterity, 8 constitution, 10 wisdom, 6 charisma, and 31 intelligence.
Okay, that is the kind of result that gets you a complete reroll, Griffin. So,
Oh boy.
it was gonna happen to somebody, I guess. Now,
I really wanted
uh,
Sherlock Holmes to come with us, you know?
Kristen,
Wow.
on the left to right layout, you're on my far right in the Zoom call. So that's why I went to you last. But
I have wisdom 10, charisma 16, constitution 12, dex 12, strength 13, intelligence 9.
That's
I'm a
pretty
sweet
good.
dumb baby boy.
Oh,
pretty good,
okay.
that's pretty good. Yeah.
So, all right, now that that's done, Griffin, you obviously have to reroll. Your
I'm
stats.
re-rolling.
Like, if it was higher than 17,
You can't have a 31.
I was gonna make you reroll.
You can't have a
So
31.
you can't have a 31.
They could be the smartest whatever ever.
He could theoretically be the greatest wizard of all time at level 1 with those stats, which is why we're absolutely not running with those stats.
Okay. I rerolled 12 strength, 11 dex, 14 con, 16 wisdom, 12 charisma, and 7 intelligence.
Okay.
Wow.
Are you gonna be a druid?
Now, you don't... we attached the stat names to them. That was, not to put too fine a point on it, bullshit. That was fully a way to, I don't know, it was a trick to shake you loose from any preconceived class notions that you had. I just wanted you to jump in with a little bit of a fun little initial spread of numbers. But you can absolutely move any of those numbers anywhere else. Absolutely free. That is not...
okay.
The ties between ability and score are fake. They were fake.
Oh,
Okay.
man.
You can put the numbers
I'm
where you
keeping
want.
mine. I'm keeping mine.
That's what I wanted. That's
I'm
what
moving
I
a
hoped
couple
for.
of mine.
I just don't want anyone stuck with like a 9 in con. That's the main reason.
Oh yeah, that's a bad one.
No 9s in con. No 4s in dexterity. We can do dump stats because frankly D&D is built with the fact of dump stats in mind. So
yeah, I swapped a couple.
To roll down the list it's counter system. It's not the thing you want to be doing. That's my personal opinion, but the numbers back me up. So a lot of people love the roll them in order. Not saying they're wrong. Just
We should do that one of these days.
definitely
3D
for like a 1 or
3d6 in
mini
order.
shot.
Yeah.
It would be fun, but 3d6 in order just.
Yeah, one of these
And
days.
I would, if you genuinely are still stuck with a super weird, lopsided nightmare stat pool, I, as your DM, will be taking responsibility for that and making sure your character gets what they need to be viable, to be fun to play. That's the kind of thing that I will be doing. We're also going to be doing like a lot of like mixing and matching and home brewing in terms of subclasses, just to whatever limits fit your idea of what you want your character to be. I like a lot of freedom in terms of mechanics in order to suit character identity and story. I have sort of an open policy on like full rerolls because a lot of the time I personally, just as a player, have gotten like 15 sessions into a campaign and realized I didn't want to play my character anymore.
Yeah, I've been there.
So like I am absolutely not too good to give you an event where you trip and fall into a magical pool that completely resets your stats. Like, it's not going to be that stupid, but we're absolutely flexible here in the Kevin Miller School of Dungeon Mastering.
You were saying something earlier about something to do with the background and a feat.
I was.
What was that about?
That's actually where I was going next. So the way that I think backgrounds and specifically the way they mechanically apply to your character work in the player's handbook, frankly, I think it sucks. I don't think it works at all. I think that the idea was to give players a mechanical gift and incentive for choosing their background. I think that kind of thing deserves mechanical gifts and incentives. I think that just having your background be flavor is fun, but ultimately not like worth the full chapter in the player's handbook that backgrounds get. And I don't think they intend for it to be purely flavor. And yet that's how it ends up being a lot of the time. Like, how often do you pick the sailor background for its like perception and athletics proficiency and then end up at a dock able to use your like powers of persuasion against nautical people? A lot of the time that kind of thing is something DMs don't account for too, and you end up just completely unable to put it into play at any point in the campaign. So instead of the normal background system, pick anything in the player's handbook, pick the Strixhaven Initiate, do whatever you like. Grab whatever background appeals to you based on your character, based on your idea for your character. But mechanically speaking, we are going to use the Tasha's rules for custom backgrounds. The moving proficiencies around, the specific choices that gives you, and also adding a feat. There will be a feat tied into your background. That this is part of why I don't like necessarily want to get through all of character creation tonight. Why I expect to be doing like a lot of Discord messaging with you guys.
Okay.
About like the specifics of what your character ends up being. What I want like tonight, as far as stuff beyond stat rolling, is just general like ideas for like races, backgrounds, ways that you want to tie into like the grand narrative of Elturel and Baldur's Gate, and Avernus too, and a starting point really that incorporates that kind of thing. That's what I want to have concrete now. Everything else we can take care of as it comes up. So like the background feat thing, that's the rule, but it's not necessarily going to be an immediate concern for anybody. Unless you have a really, really strong character concept right away, in which case I am super interested.
I have a character concept.
Awesome.
Oh boy, here we go.
Okay, you guys ready for this? So, since my charisma is the highest, I'm gonna be a warlock, and my patron will be whomever. I guess I can just get some information from Kevin about that, but I would like to in some way be tied with like if there's a thieves guild or anything like that in town. And basically the way that I keep my warlock powers is by like selling ties or things that I find. And I'm basically like in a pyramid scheme, like an MLM style pyramid scheme. So I have to sell a certain amount of things to keep my powers.
Okay, that's super fun. So as far as like thieves guilds and like things that you can be like a part of that would get you to that like particular set of warlock sort of rules, Baldur's Gate is definitely your city. That is the absolute hell pit of MLMs and pyramid schemes and every other scam that's ever been run on the face of the planet. That's like the thing that you've laid out there screams like urchin background Baldur's Gate edition to me too. Like just like some kind of street child who has like had like the Oliver Twist thing happen to them where they've been taken in by a like terrible old man who has them sell a bunch of random stolen goods and like a I think the warlock patron thing, do you have like in mind like a specific like pact of the whatever, like or not pact of the like
Patron,
archfey themed, what's the
I would say probably like archfey or fiend would be like, or maybe I guess the hexblade's like the easiest one, but yeah, I was definitely thinking along the lines of one of those two, like having like the fey presence and stuff.
I think that like an archfey, there are a lot of fairies that like canonically that hang out in Baldur's Gate and just steal shit and live in the walls. So having
Okay.
like the archfey of that be your patron sounds super fun to me.
Okay. Also, I want to be a halfling.
How else could you make this character?
I don't know.
You would
Gotta
almost
be a
have to
halfling.
have the halfling reroll ones thing to even
Mhm.
get to where you are in Baldur's Gate. That's a lot of
Cool.
fun.
Thanks.
And yeah, there's definitely ways to like make that be hexbladey or familiary or whatever subclass or pact you end up specifically. Like mechanically, it doesn't even need to be the Archfey patron. It can be like the actual like character sheet can be like whatever patron you like. That's just an easy reflavoring job.
Okay.
But anybody, anything else you specifically have about your character, or anything anyone else wants to bring up?
I'm gonna be a goblin rogue.
Goblin Rogue.
Yep.
Can you steal stuff so that I can sell it?
Yes.
You
So
guys, this is a thing that I was gonna bring up after a couple people had already mentioned things, but this is actually not to. I'm interrupting you, James, but
no. Go ahead.
this is something that I just want to get in here now. Is Baldur's Gate: Descent into Avernus provides its players in one of its chapters down a weird dead end side road a dark secret thing that is supposed to be tied to every member of the party. So there are these tables that you can roll on that like you can determine whether everyone in the party was involved in a conspiracy in Baldur's Gate, a murder in Baldur's Gate, a coup in Baldur's Gate, or a theft in Baldur's Gate. And there are like roles like ringleader of the conspiracy or assassin in the murder plot. And obviously the rolling on the tables part we don't necessarily need to do, but I would love if we could incorporate elements of that into the character creation process.
Sounds good to me. Any of those
Sounds like we're already kind of doing it.
Any of those
That's,
things.
kinda
that's
doing
why
the
I brought it
thievery
up
one.
now, because
Any of those things could have applied to Bosco.
Bosco.
Bosco?
Bosco.
Awesome.
Roscoe's long lost cousin?
Ah,
How
The
many
truth
lore
can be
goblins
times
do you
removed.
have, James? How many
Uh,
lore goblins sit in your files, ready
I
to
don't.
be?
I don't want to talk about that. It's,
Of course, of course. We don't
Um,
have to.
But I figure Bosco would be maybe bussing tables at this tavern in Elturel. Or, you know, picking pockets.
An
where he
easy
can.
way, an easy way to get like a thieving urchin, especially one with a maybe slightly more worldly, but also more cynical partner in crime into this particular scenario
Uh-huh.
would be as fake conscripts trying to get some inside info, as followers who are like sort of camp following, but actually they're doing some petty thievery work on the side. There's a
Okay.
lot of possibility there that
And
I
you-
would be happy to explore.
Okay, so I'm trying to wrap my head around the mechanic, but we get a feat as well.
The background specifically gives you a feat,
Okay.
and then whatever proficiencies it has can be switched around. A la
So
cautious.
we add a feat to our background, or we have to pick a background that has a
Specifically,
feat.
if let's say you took urchin, right, as
Yes.
your background,
Which I did.
Which that's what I'm trying to take too.
There is in the Baldur's Gate urchin background,
Oh.
there is a like feature that it gives you, right?
Uh-huh.
There's like a mechanical thing where you know the city and you can disappear, or whatever it is.
Okay. So it's a feature, not a feat.
No, I'm replacing that with a feat.
And we get to pick it?
You do get to pick it.
Okay.
Oh,
The point is
I already
that
picked mine.
living at right. So what would it be?
Squat nimbleness. You have to be a small creature. And that means my dexterity is now a 20. At level 1. Because it gives you a +1 in dexterity.
Okay, I don't want to do half feats.
What do you
For
mean by
this
half
specific-
feats?
Half feats are feats that give you a benefit and also +1 in an ability score.
Okay.
I want because I want your specific ability score improvements
Uh-huh.
to come from your.
I understand that. I mean, I can deal with a 19. Let me read the whole thing, dude. Where did it go? And you can tell me features and traits. There we go. Thank you, D&D Beyond. Okay, so it says increase your strength or dex score by 1. So that's what you mean by half feet.
Yes.
Okay. Increase
If a feat
walking speed by
increases an ability
5. That would
score,
have been
it's a half
nice.
feat.
Gain proficiency in acrobatics or athletics. Advantage on athletics or acrobatics check you make to escape from being grappled. That's a really good feat.
Here's the thing. What we can do is we can take the half feet benefit, the +1 in the ability score, replace it with a benefit from another half feet or a benefit from one of the other feats. Something that makes sense with the feat and still gives you that specific benefit you want at level 1 without giving you the ability score.
We can talk about that throughout the week.
This is the kind of the thing that I want to bring back up on Discord.
Yeah, that works for me.
Alden, Griffin, anything materializing for you guys?
I would like to see what Griffin picks before I tell you what I'm going to be, because I might have
The
to
wheels
switch.
are turning. I'm thinking the disgraced ancestor of a Hell Rider, of one of the original who went into hell and failed, and he's a disgraced ancestor looking to reclaim the nobility of the family name.
So, like, this, because the Hell Riders are, like, people are into the Hell Riders. There wouldn't necessarily be, like, a black mark on the name because of being a Hell Rider, but a lot of the Hell Riders came back and were, like, messed up and never really recovered from the descent into Avernus, the original descent into Avernus. So there would be a lot of opportunity for them to have gone in, come back this, like, tarnished hero, and then fallen from that grace back in Elturel. And that, I think, would definitely...
That's the guy. That's the ticket.
So you would play, like a noble or something, like...
Yes.
Like, background-wise, that would be...
Oh, yeah.
And, any race thoughts, any class thoughts?
Going elf. Going paladin.
So, like, you could even be the sun, because...
I could even be the sun.
Elf lifetimes.
I could even be the guy.
You could be the guy. That would be a lot.
You could be a
but it
sun
would
elf.
Totally work. What?
You could be a sun elf.
So what? Sun
That's
elf?
a thing, right? Sun elf?
I've never heard of a sun elf.
I think that's a thing. Pretty sure.
It sounds like it would be a thing.
Sun elf?
S-U-N.
That Matt Mercer's thing. Matt
He's
Mercer
making...
made that.
It's a pun.
No.
About you being the son of a disgraced Hell Rider and a sun elf.
I'm sure there's going to be far too many puns already.
He did make moon elves, I think.
Did he?
I think he
That
did.
sounds right. Either way, do you want, like, to pick right now between disgraced Hell Rider themselves or...
Yes. That's
You're
me.
gonna go-
I'm a disgraced
All right.
Hell Rider.
All right. You went into Avernus, you saw some shit, you never recovered, and now you're back for a second adventure.
Back again, once again.
So would that background be, like, soldier, then?
I'm thinking Haunted One.
I knew you were going to say that.
Haunted One makes a lot of sense.
Thinking Haunted One. I think he's haunted.
So what's your final ability scores look like?
So I'm going 14 charisma, 16 dex, 12 constitution, 12 wisdom, 11 strength, 7 intelligence.
Ooh, dex-based paladin. I like it.
Dex-based paladin.
Dex-based paladin. We'd love to hear it. And we can do a lot with that beyond necessarily what the rules as written limit you to.
Actually, I changed my mind. I'm switching intelligence and wisdom. Because he's mad. He's mad. He's got low wisdom.
Okay.
Cuckoo.
Oh boy.
So you do want to go with paladin though, after all.
Oh yeah.
I had a feeling you might. And like I said, if you are getting bored of your paladin, we can do stuff about that. So, know it's on the table. Don't. I know you're gonna do this right away. Know it's on the table, Griffin. Just accept that it's on the table.
Acknowledge that it is on the table.
Okay, that's what I want. So Alton, we've got rogue, paladin, warlock so far. If that's what you were waiting to hear.
Yeah, I'm scrambling because then he didn't knock me away from my wizard, but he did pick elf. You know, now
You
so
can
now
be
I
an
got,
elf.
No,
You can also
there can't be
an
two
elf.
elves.
Yes, there can be two
I
elves.
would love an elf brother.
Then
You
we're
know
gonna
how
we're
different
gonna
elves
gang up on
are.
the
You know how
goblin.
different
and you
two
know we
elves
are. 'Cause
are.
we're gonna bully him. Because bullying
you can
James is
try.
just too easy. Oh
You
yeah,
can try.
we're gonna really bully James, and I don't want to do that.
I'm
you
an
know?
agent of chaos.
There's going to be a lot of bullying targets, I think, in the campaign. Just-
Ooh,
Oh yeah.
Not me. I just sell ties.
yeah.
Yeah, you sell ties.
We're not
and
gonna bully the
handkerchiefs.
tie
You're not
salesman,
gonna-
really? The tie salesman's not gonna get bullied?
Well,
Maybe
how nice are the ties? Hold on.
Maybe,
He's just gonna
Yeah,
ask
yeah,
everyone
yeah.
you meet if they want to be their own boss,
Does
and
he have,
that's
like-
gonna be that.
You sell like purple ties? Well, that-
So all color ties.
Oh, okay, yeah. No, okay, we can talk.
Mhm. They're
Anyways,
nice.
yeah, I think maybe Hobgoblin?
that'd be
Hobgoblin
interesting. We haven't had one of
wizard?
those in a campaign.
I like Hobgoblin.
Yes. All right.
Very into that.
Okay.
I should say that if anyone's maybe feeling the lack of a cleric a little bit, just in their hearts, just a
Nah.
little bit.
Who needs a cleric?
There's an NPC in the campaign
Oh.
that very much has a side role as healer that will, just in terms of what the campaign is, be around a lot. So
All right.
I don't want anyone to feel obligated to take healing word against their will. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I won't.
I think we should have a Chris, and I think we should have our characters should know each other ahead of time.
Yeah.
And Bosco steals specifically ties.
Yeah.
To give to your character.
Big part of
Specifically ties, like nothing else. You don't want nothing else, just ties.
bolo ties, bow ties, fat ties, skinny ties.
Power
I am
ties.
so. Every time you have said the word ties, I've given you an alternative trinket to steal, and I don't know if you've noticed that I've been doing that. I don't know if you guys have seen like Lord of the Rings or like
No, I've never seen that one. What's that
Willow or
about?
other kind of fantasy stuff.
Yeah.
People don't tend to have invented ties in the time periods we're talking about.
So I need a new MLM scheme is what you're
I
saying?
don't want to crush your
Maybe you're
tie
trying to
thing.
bring ties into the fashion sphere. You know?
You've
Maybe that's
invented
your-
Yeah.
ties.
You invented
Maybe
ties.
you steal handkerchiefs and other scraps of cloth and sew them into ties, and you're trying to get that. And everyone
push
you
that
talk to
as
is
a
like, "This
concept?"
is incredibly uncomfortable. I have no reason to ever wear this. What if an opponent in a sword fight grabbed it? Then I would be die. Then I would kill. Then I would be killed."
Yeah, but it's a fashion statement. But
What
okay,
about
I'll take that.
ascots? Do they have ascots?
That's just a
With two.
tie.
And
That's a
Two
very,
S's.
barely different subtype of tie.
No, we're talking about ascots with two S's.
No.
Are they worn on the belt? Are they worn on the belt right in the back like a little tail?
Yeah, with two S's, yeah.
Okay, we'll think of
ascot
something more
sales.
relevant.
Your ascot sales.
We'll think of something more relevant, but we are also going to be pushing ties.
Okay.
Okay. That's Bosco's deranged invention that he has
Bosco will
roped.
be stealing them for. Kristen, have you named your character yet?
Not yet.
Okay. Well, Bosco
I
will
like-
be
I the name Remy.
stealing things
But I don't know.
for possibly Remy.
Maybe Remy.
Okay. Beautiful.
Alden, what are you doing over there?
I'm picking my background.
Are you beyonding? Are you
Yeah.
using D&D Beyond, not a sponsor?
Yeah, they're not a sponsor. Don't
Not a
talk about
sponsor.
them. Yeah, don't let them know. But yes.
But we are looking.
If they were to sponsor us, that would be pretty cool.
Yeah,
That
I
would-
talk
that'd be
about
great.
Use
I
D&D
talk
Beyond
about
a
how
lot.
wonderful they are, but no.
But they are, in fact, not a sponsor.
Okay. What?
Don't hobgoblins push goblins around? Isn't that their whole deal?
Yeah, sure. Do.
If they're part of the army together, but we don't know each other. We're cool.
That's like the whole
I
deal.
can't
isn't it?
imagine that. So, what is a hobgoblin wizard doing in the Sword Coast, Baldur's Gate, Elturel area?
Well, because Clive Standish is a wizard, he believes that this problem can only be solved in arcane means. Look what happened the last time your faith-based foolishness got involved. Another disaster happened. So obviously, men of creatures of superior intellect must be involved in the solution this time. He has a charisma of 6.
Of course he does.
I can't see that being a problem in the Nine Hells. So,
Be fine.
It'll be fine.
Be all right.
I mean, background-wise, I should say everything that we've said so far can be subject to change still before session 1.
Yeah.
That's carte blanche to throw your character out and make a new one. That's just wanted to have that on record.
Which is the devil language? Is it infernal or abyssal?
Infernal.
Infernal.
Infernal is going to be very useful if anyone
Are there
happens to want to metagame that into their character.
Oh, for
are there
sure.
any specific trigger warnings for this campaign?
Oh, I should. I might as well do the
Because
that part of the session 0. We just, as a general rule, I do just like a very simple R rating edging into PG-13. No, like, definitely blood and gore, but I mean, it's the Seven Hells, you gotta. Probably like succubi and that kind of thing, just to like a PG-13 limit, like nothing gross or uncomfortable.
Okay.
Just as far as like I would define that, and then obviously that's subject to you guys's qualifiers, because I'm trying to have everyone have fun here, and we absolutely don't need to stray into anything like that. Absolutely, like zero, like straying into any kind of non-consensual anything. We are not doing that. I don't do that. I don't want to be a part of a game that does that. Beyond that, we also have like a X card thing happening. I know cards obviously would take like some amount of work to produce, but
Maybe just go like
this is this universal skip button essentially for a scene. Consider that your finger on the little tracker.
Maybe with a
on the
nope,
screen
nope, nope,
to
nope, nope.
drag
like
forward. Yeah, just like I'll be looking for it.
Okay.
Anytime I feel like we're getting near something that could, and you know, always a right of the players to skip a scene. We will move forward. I will simply pretend that the scene has concluded in some neutral fashion, and then we can talk about it after, so that to not have to interact with something that makes anybody uncomfortable. Don't need to do that live, but yeah, that's the rules as far as player comfort and like general content goes. This isn't a straight horror campaign. Unlike Icewind Dale, this is definitely a big sort of. There's gonna be a lot of like souls and eternal damnation stuff, but I believe that I have personally hit like a very positive and well balanced point on that. With
it's more like a mustache twirling kind of evil, not like right.
Right. It's this evil, is evil. The tone that you should expect from the campaign is not Dante's Inferno. It's you know, it's heavy metal hell. It's album cover hell. That's the soundtrack I've been downloading for the campaign. It's all guitars and drums and that kind of thing. It's Doom. We're playing Doom here, not there was a horror game that was like hell, and it was like really relatively recent. I don't know. That's a piece of gaming trivia I don't think we need. No.
Silent Hill?
No, it was this. It was its name started with an A or something.
I didn't play Bloodborne, but I've seen it on the internet.
Bloodborne
pretty scary.
Bloodborne is Eldritch Hell. We're not doing that. We're doing. Anybody remember Brutal Legend, the game starring Jack Black for the Xbox 360?
No.
That's what this campaign is.
Oh no.
That's what this campaign is.
I'm gonna have to look that one up. That sounds awesome.
Oh,
no. There is, mechanically speaking, one of this campaign's like big marketing draws was that there were these Mad Max Hell grinder vehicles that in the official book are powered by the souls of the damned, but I've done a little bit with that just because of what I would want to do overall with the campaign.
Okay.
But the there's one of them that just has like a station that you can take, and I don't remember if I or someone else homebrewed this or if it's in the book, but it's essentially the guitar guy who stands on top of the truck in Mad Max Fury Road.
Doof Warrior.
Doof Warrior.
Yeah. The Doof Warrior, yeah. That's like a whole mechanical thing in the version of Avernus that we're gonna hang out in.
All right, I'm down for that.
Yeah, that's definitely the oeuvre of the campaign, to put it in a word. There is, I mean, it's going to be high drama. It's going to be high emotions.
Alden.
What?
But
he's talking right now. Stop talking to me.
Are we going to be best buddies again?
Probably.
What do you think?
Can I be best buddies with somebody this time?
You gotta ask Chris.
Come on in, man.
How about
Yeah.
that?
Okay.
Oh, what the crap? That's so mean. That's so mean.
He already said he was gonna bully me, so.
I'm gonna bully the tie seller.
That's just preemptive. You bully the tie seller, you bully me.
Oh my goodness.
oh man, Devin, the dynamic that he doesn't know he's going to be yanked into. Anyway, the as far as like existing relationships go and like inter-character connections going into session 1, that's very much what the Dark Secret part of the Descent into Avernus book is built to address. This is definitely where we would get more into that if we are interested in further exploring that concept.
Personally, I kind of like to find out in game. Personally, I don't know how the rest of you think about it.
I personally find that in-game sort of secret reveals tend to be just as fun for me personally if I kind of already know they're coming. If like the scenario is sort of,
I don't know. Personally, I don't like spoilers. I like to be surprised, but you know.
Generally, what happens is even if I out of character know it's coming, I in character am still feeling I still feel the reveal. You know, that's just me.
You know, when your favorite TV show comes out, and you gotta go to work, so you can't watch it, and so you just stay off the internet until you get home.
Yeah,
that's what I do.
I mean, Elden Ring just came out. I've come off of like weeks of doing that. But
yeah, but I'm on PC, so I gotta wait for them to fix it.
Oh, I'm on.
I've been playing
it's
it on
fine.
PC. It's fine.
It's fine.
Really?
It's
yeah.
fine.
Okay.
I have like a 1060, 6 gigabyte. It's not.
Yeah. All right.
Oh, I have an amazing PC.
It's not killing my computer.
So.
Okay. Cool.
It's an occasional bummer, not a game ruiner. That's how I would describe the performance issues.
All right.
So anyway, if that's all we necessarily want to get through on camera, I think that we can probably cut it off here.
I'm good with that. Are you good with that, Alden?
And then we'll stay in touch over Discord about character specifics and the dark secret thing. Just to make that clear, what you want out of that collectively, the dark secret. Are we talking like that's a character backstory thing that you want to improv, or a story you want to happen on screen?
I don't know. I think we should think about that a little bit and figure it out.
Because it is in the book. It's written to be a thing that you roll a table on before the game starts and know going in.
Let's do that in Discord. I want to, I want to see what it is first.
I mean, rolling the table, it's because it is one of 4 things. It's the theft, the coup, the conspiracy, or the murder.
And then we're all involved in?
Right. And there's roles of, like, bystander or attempted, like, foiler of the plot.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to all be criminals going into the game.
I was fine with the planning out a heist. You have the know-how. Oh, well, I have the know-how, and you have the physical skills to pull off this. Steal this item from me, and then we will cut it 4 ways.
I think a theft could be a lot of fun, personally. Relatively low stakes for going into the adventure. Still something to hit you over the head with as DM. That appeals to me.
Yeah. All 4 of those
if you've stolen something, say, from Griffin's character, maybe?
Oh.
Oh.
Are you okay with that?
That would be
maybe some kind of hell thing that he brought back?
He is a
You
nobile.
took my hell thing? To arms.
How did we know about this hell thing?
Well, we can work that out in Discord. If we're interested in the idea.
He is a nobile. And maybe he's got
Noble elf, shut up in a decrepit
something.
manor on the outskirts of Elturel, fuming over his ancient chain.
Yes. That's precisely the person we need to steal from so that I can get to the bottom of this mystery.
Oh, you know what a chain is a lot like? A tie.
What?
A chain is a lot like a tie.
I don't know.
Where's the chain from?
I would not want to put a chain around my neck, no.
Put it on
What
your
are
neck.
we looking for with a chain?
It's just
Like a thin,
tie.
flimsy. It's just for style.
Yeah, exactly.
You're thinking too utilitarian right now.
Oh.
I really think that it's going to give somebody something to grab on to hurt me.
Just in terms of tone, for the record, I'm totally happy with you guys being tie thieving conglomerate of weird goblins and halflings who, like, that's fun for me.
Clive will just put up with their tie thieving. That's like not how he got involved with them. He's like, maybe you should think bigger than ties. Yes? No? Oh, all right.
That'll be our character arc.
You know, it would be funny actually to get you into the tavern is if you guys stole the thing and there was like some problem transporting it out of the city, and Griffin's character catches up to you and drags you to the tavern to complain about you to his like old order of knights, and then you get swept up in the thing that's going on.
All right.
And then
Just a
become
thought.
best friends.
I'm DFW.
Cool. Well, this all sounds great, and I'm excited.
All right.
Yeah, me too.
I've got ideas.
Me too.
All right, that's a session 0. That's been our session 0 for Ride to Retribution, a Neon Goblin campaign using the Descent into Avernus module. And I think we're about ready to head out.
Yeah. So we'll see you in a few days. I'm not sure what night we're going to be doing this, but we'll see you in a few days.
I was hoping to keep the Wednesday time.
You want to do the Wednesday? Okay. I mean,
we're changing like the full cast thing, so the flexibility is
Yeah. Okay.
in the equation. But
All right. Well, we'll probably see you next Wednesday then, everybody.
probably see you next Wednesday. In the meantime, check out our other Neon Goblin campaigns. Check our Twitter account for information on those.
Yeah, we're going to be starting Horde of the Dragon Queen on Monday, which sounds like it might tie into this one a little bit. So, everybody have a good night. We love you.
Bye.
Stay safe.
Bye, guys. It's a brand new adventure. Whoa.
Bye.